Very good afternoon to one and all. Uh, very happy to meet you all with a very wonderful topic, art of research. So, thank you, ma'am, for your introduction. First of all, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the team IoT uh, who have been working uh, vibrantly for the upliftment of faculty. So they frequently organize such programs, and I'm very happy to be a part of such team. So today's the main theme of this faculty development program, the art of research. So it's a very wonderful topic, I should say. So research is something that is a demanding topic, that is a demanding area in today's scenario. So in that case, the art of research, my topic, specific topic here is research methodology. So what do you call in other words, the fundamentals of research. I hope I am audible, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Anisha, ma'am. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So this research, this topic research, the art of research. Yes, of course, research is an art. So art, how will we uh, use the other term for art is skill. Yes. So research is a skill. So which every one of us, it is there in us. But only thing is uh, how we are going to groom those and bring it out to limelight. So certain strategies, certain theoretical concepts that we are expected to be aware of uh, while we involve ourselves in any research, right? It may be arts, it may be a science, it may be management studies, it may be legal, whatever the area of the subject may be. Research is a common platform, right? So in that case, what I wish to discuss here, because since the people, the faculty here will be from various disciplines, so many of you may be doctorates here, you might have done this, you might be aware of this topic research. So in that case, I'll just give you an overview, like the fundamentals, what you call. That's what I said, fundamentals. Yes. So research, as I said, is a very challenging topic. Fundamentals of research is, in other words, what you call research methodology. That what I'm going to just throw light on today, right? So is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So uh,
Fine, ma'am.
okay. Okay. Let us begin this. What is this research methodology? First, what is research? Yes. So getting into this, what is research? It is research. Yes. That is how the word has been coined. So search is something that already exists. Like I want to mention here the difference between discovery and invention. Yes. So what is discovery and what is invention? So invention is something that we get into it, uh, a new concept or a new idea that we uh, find out. Yes. Uh, and what about discovery? So we have a very good, very common, familiar statement for this term discovery, which we might have come across in our school studies. Columbus discovered America. Yes. So in that case, discover is something that already exists. We are bringing it out to limelight, right? So these are the basic difference between discovery and invention. The same I just want to apply here. Research. So research is something that already exists. So that is why I have made a partition here, a division here, a it's a prefix with search. So something that already exists and we are redoing it in order to bring it to limelight. Yes. So this is how the word has been coined. So this is a small diagrammatic representation of the word research, where we have a target to be achieved, we employ a strategy, we have a planning, we analyze and bring to a conclusion, right? And etymologically, what is the term research? The derivation of the term research, it is from a French word, so which means research. So you could see the spelling here, Recerch. Yes, so which we have coined as research. So we have an explanation of, elaboration of this word. So research, R is rational thinking, E is expert and exhaustive treatment, S is research for solutions, E is for exactness, A is for analytical analysis, R is for relationship between facts and theories, and C is constructive attitude, critical observation, cautious and careful reading, and H is for honesty, hard work in all aspects. Yes, this is the last one, is what we call research ethics. Yes, so this is what the full form of the word research is. So, a small definition, it is a systematic method where we enunciate a problem, we formulate a hypothesis, we collect data, we analyze the facts, then we reach a conclusion, which is in the form of a solution, which we correlate with the problem, which we have focused at the beginning, and we give us generalized in certain generalizations or in a theoretical formulation, we give our conclusion, right? So this is a small diagrammatic representation of this term research methodology. This is actually the process, what I could say. Yes, so what we do, how do we initiate a research, right? So research, these days, research has become a very common term amongst the current generation. But what I could observe is uh, the amount of dedication. That is, I feel like the amount of dedication is lacking. Yes. So the research it's actually almost every one of us, we are going to do it only once in our lifetime. Only when you are involved in any research lab, when you are working for any research institute or a research wing of university or any, it may be any research lab, we going for frequent researches. Other than that, for all of us, the research is just a one-time, what you call, work that we do in our lifetime. Yes, so in that case, the total dedication is what direly required by every person who initiates the research. This is what my personal opinion is. So now coming to this slide. So the process. So first is this various steps involved when we initiate a research. Yes, first is we identify a research question. Research question is nothing but the problem. So we have a problem and for which we are going to give a solution. Okay. So in that case, identifying a research question is nothing but identifying a problem. We are identifying a problem. Next is conduct a literature review. So this is very, very important. We have a problem. So before initiating our research, it is always advisable and it is mandatory to go in for literature review. Why? Because literature review helps us, it throws light on the limitations of our research. That means up to what the idea that we have, the perception that we have any one of or anybody else, they applied this and conducted research previously? Does any research exist previously with this idea? Yes. So, and what are all those that is relevant to this idea that we have, that is being done by people worldwide? So for this is for all these, literature review is very, very important. So before getting into our research work, we have to go in for the literature review, which is very, very important. We have so many websites these days that throws light on the various theses and dissertation that is being done worldwide. And when we narrow down our idea, we have lots of, it may be a journal article, it may be a research oriented article, or it may be even a full-fledged research, whatever may be. So the idea, the concept that is being employed, so we get an idea of, right? So the next step is we form a hypothesis. So based on the literature review, so now the next step is we will have a clarity whether we will be able to pursue our research work in the idea, with the idea what we have in our mind, right? So based on the literature review, only after conducting a literature review, every researcher will get a clarity on the area of study that he or she wants to do. Yes. So in that case, now let us assume that we have got a clarity. Okay, what I have thought at the beginning and what I have learned from the literature review. Okay, I think the idea that I need a slight modification of this. At every researcher will get an idea of their research only from the literature review. Okay. Now the next step, what we do is we form a hypothesis. Hypothesis is a statement, hypothetical statement, what we call. So this that talks about what is the problem and how we are going to focus it, and what is the end point we expect. What is it that we want to give? Next step is design a research study. Next is design. How are we going to do? Work plan, plan of schedule. We are going to conduct survey. We are going to prepare questionnaire. I'm going to collect so many data, some 500 data, and I'm going to analyze it statistically. It can be any more depending on our branch of study. Okay, so that is what the design talks about. Next step is based on the design, we go in for collecting data. So the relevant sources, what you call primary source, secondary source, everything. Okay, the next step is the whatever the data we have collected, we analyze all those data. We segregate it, we analyze it, whichever is comfortable for us, whichever is what do you call relevant to our uh, uh, hypothetical statement, we have all those. Next is disseminate results. So based on the data, based on the analysis of the data, what we do is we come to a conclusion. What you call, we give a result for this, we give a solution for this. So this is what the various steps that is involved in the conduct of a research. Okay. Next is a small introduction. So research in common parlances, it refers to, so why do we do research? It is nothing but in search of knowledge. Yes. So we want to upgrade ourselves. We want to excel our knowledge that we have. So that is the main purpose for which we conduct our research. Yes. So once we have defined this research, it may be scientific or a systematic approach. So based on the specific topic. Okay. So research is nothing but it is an art of scientific investigation. Okay. We investigate scientifically. It may be like not only science, as I said, irrespective of the branch of study, whatever we do, yes, it is an investigation. Next is, it is a specific research method. How will it define? It is a specific procedure or technique used to identify, select, process, analyze information about the topic. It is a science of study how research. So research methodology is, it is a science. It has certain principles. It is similar to science. Okay. We have two questions. The methodology section, it answers two main questions. How was the data collected? How was it analyzed? So what is my problem? How did I collect my data and how is it that I'm going to analyze it? So this is very, very important because based on the analysis only, we give the solution for it. Yes. Next is, so it is a highly, research is actually, it is a highly intellectual human activity. Yes. So this human activity, it is used in the investigation of investigation of nature and matter, right? So the manner in which we collect, the manner in which we analyze, the manner in which we interpret, these are very, very important. Next is, it is actually a system, research methodology. It is a system of models, procedures, and techniques, right? Which is used to find the research problem, which is used to find the result of the research problem. And this is what we call as research methodology. Okay. Next is a difference. So you will have a confusion here. What do you mean by method and what do you mean by methodology? In what way these two differs? We have to be clear in this first. What is methodology? What is method? Both are not same. Yes. Research methodology is, it is a well-defined research. I mean, a well-defined research methodology helps you to conduct your research in the right direction. It validates the result of your research and makes sure that the study you are conducting, it answers the set research questions. So you have a set of questions in you, and for which you get the answer through your research work. So this is what methodology is. Method, what do you mean by method? Method is the procedure that you adopt in conduct of this. Yes. So we go in for a particular technique, we adopt a particular technique. Every individual, every researcher, they have their own technique for the conduct of their research. Okay. So appropriate method, appropriate technique that is required to conduct the research, and the research method for writing, the way you present your project, your thesis. Okay, it is an important aspect of, so you collect data, you analyze, everything is there. But what about presentation? That is what method is. Okay, so you have a very simplest definition here. Methodology is study of general approach, and method is specific technique, specific tool, specific procedure. You have an example C. Supposingly, if a research is conducted in the field of economics, so naturally we have to involve survey, we have to gather data analysis. I mean, we have to go in for data gathering, data analysis. Yes, so all these are involved. So this is according to the dictionary, what it says. Yes, according to the dictionary, what is the term research methodology stands for? So careful investigation or inquiry, especially through search for new fact in any branch of. So something new that you want to do, but the base of it already exists. Yes, that we need to bear in our mind. Next, objectives of research, right? So to gain familiarity, yes, or to achieve new insights. So this is what, so every research, it has an objective to be achieved. So even when you write in your thesis, we need to mention the list of objectives of conducting this research. Okay. So in that case, to gain familiarity with the phenomena or achieve new insights. So next is we portray the characteristics of a particular individual or a situation. Next is to determine the frequency, whether something occurs or associated with something else. Diagnostic, what you call. Next is to test a hypothesis of a causal relationship, which is what we call it as hypothesis testing. So these are the common objectives of any research. Next is purpose. So what is the purpose of research? So this clarity, this concept, this idea should be there in our mind. That is, first is review or synthesize existing knowledge. So the knowledge which we have, yes, we review, we synthesize it. Next is we investigate the situation, the problem. Next is we provide a solution to the problem. Next is we explore and analyze more general issues. Next, we construct or create new procedures. So we explain new phenomena, we generate new knowledge, and it may be even a combination of all these. Yes, so this is the main purpose of research. Again, this is a very general terminology which I mentioned here. It is not inclined with any particular subject. Research in general, I'm talking about, right? Next is research question. That is what you call the questions that we have in our mind, which leads to framing the hypothetical statement. So, what is the main purpose? Why should an individual have research questions within them? Why? See, unless we have certain questions, the thirst for knowledge, we won't go in search of exploring it. We won't go in search of exploration. So exploration is possible only when we raise questions within ourselves. Okay, so the main purpose of research question, it is to define the scope of the research, determine like what is to be done and what extent it will be done. Okay, so these two are the main factors that contribute to the research question. Next is sometimes even the researcher may be a little bit distracted from the original objective, but this may be due to the influences like encouraging new ideas, discussion with colleagues, reading more work, and ideas that he gets during the course of research. And however he does it, he or she, they don't neglect the original research. Yes, so research question may change depending on the process of research, but the the base what we do is we need to ask ourselves whether we have satisfied these questions. It is called what you call self questioning. Okay, so then and there a researcher must question themselves whether they are achieving, whether they are on the appropriate track, whether they are able to achieve to achieve their objectives. Okay, next is important. So why should we do this research methodology? So you can think like, what is there in it in research? Why should I study this research methodology? No, learning.
Subulakshmi, ma'am.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible, ma'am.
Okay, sorry, ma'am. I had a small network issue. Sorry.
No issues, ma'am.
Okay. Now, important. So why should we know this research methodology? Why you can ask, you can ask yourself like, why should I read this? So research is a very common. So this is even
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, PPT is not visible, ma'am.
okay.
Yes,
Just a minute. Just a
yes,
minute.
ma'am.
Now, now is it visible, ma'am? PPT.
Yes, ma'am. It is visible, ma'am. It is visible.
Okay. Okay. Now, the main purpose of importance of knowing this research methodology is it is like it enables us to do better research, right? So, just for the sake of doing research, will not earn a fruitful solution for our research problem, right? So, in order to achieve an appropriate and what do you call a relevant, appropriate solution for the problem, research methodology is very helpful for us to achieve this purpose. Okay, so a disciplined thinking and a proper way of doing an appropriate path that we need to choose to achieve our objectives. Yes, so this is the main purpose of it. Next is in various fields it helps us for business administration, for community development, for the social work. So for all these, we need to go in for frequent research work to evaluate, and based on that, we go in for the implementation of various schemes and various what you call development projects. Okay. Next is intelligent decisions. So if we are going to make an appropriate decision, what you call decision making skill. So this skill could be developed unconsciously when we learn this research methodology. After learning this research methodology, if we do our research, we will be a good decision maker. Okay. Next is rational decisions. So which helps the consumer of research result evaluate enable. So the people to evaluate and enable. Yes. So this is the next step. Next is types. When we talk about various, we have certain research types of research methodologies. What you call, I'll just come from the left hand side top. Okay, correlational, causal comparative, experimental, next historical, ethnographic, action research, survey research. So these are the common. So I don't mean to say these are the only types. These are the commonly used types of methodologies, research methodology. So what is this scientific method? We don't have it here, scientific method. So this is actually, it is cyclic, what you call. So we gather ideas, we conduct research, we analyze, we generate more ideas, and it is to build a theory, explanation of how and why, and all these with the current evidences. So this is what you call scientific method. See, another diagrammatic representation where we talk about research methods, where descriptive, the major methods are descriptive, experimental, historical. And when you take this descriptive, we again have subtypes there, which is survey, content analysis, interrelational, ethnographic, and developmental. Okay. Next, coming to this experimental. Experimental again, we talk about it may be a longitudinal or a cross sectional. And again, like when we talk about historical, it may be a case study, it may be correlation, it may be causal or a comparator. So these are the major types and subtypes. So historical is right from the term we could identify. It refers to something, a critical study. So in order to establish the facts, you come for the conclusion of from the past event. Yes, and the past event is studied critically in a historical approach. Okay. Next is research method. So research method, as we went through previous slides, so we formulated an idea and we go in for questions and data analysis. Descriptive research. So right from the term, we can have an background idea that descriptive research deals with, it describes, clarifies, analyzes, and interprets present situation, current trends, attitudes, and opinions of people. Okay, so existent differences and interrelationship. So relation to person, institute, structure. So in short, this descriptive research is something that describes, clarifies, and interprets. Okay. Next is experimental. So experimental is like we can say that observing the effect of certain factors like this in a controlled situation, we call it as an experiment. So we call this, we just take this term experiment. So experiment is normally we connect it with the science laboratory. Okay, so this is not that only science, even in other subjects also experiments can be done. Like for example, if we go in for a feedback collection, a questionnaire, a feedback collection from the students or the faculty, and we talk about the competency of the learners, competency of the teachers, and all those, that is also an experiment. Okay, but normally in general, experiment is a term that we always used to connect with science people. Okay, so this factor, it has to be, it is to be checked, and it is called like what you call independent variable. Okay, next is interrelational. Interrelational researches, it is a typical type or subtype of descriptive research. Okay, so where we talk about the cause and effect, interrelational, inter, from this relationship between one to other. So in that case, cause and effect, relationship between cause and effect, and the factors responsible for the existence or magnitude. Okay, so there are two types of interrelational research. One is case study, another is correlational. The last is causal, like not the first two is taken into consideration. That's why we talk about two types. And next is ethnography. Ethnography is actually it talks about where the researcher he or she examines the behaviors, the culture, the life of any particular social unit or a group of social unit. So, or being a member of that group. So, this is what you call ethnography. Okay, this is another type of research. So, ethnography is a method of research in which the researcher investigates the practices, the culture, and life of a community. For example, if you're going for a research on the tribal language, automatically we focus on all this, it comes under ethnographic research, where we focus on the practices, the culture, the life of the community, the food habits of the community. So, everything, lifestyle, everything. Next is empirical. The other types, what we call is empirical, library, social, scientific. So empirical research is observation of fact or interaction with people. Okay, next is library, is it is done in a library situation. Maybe the books, the way it is being aligned with the library, it can be any factors. Next is social researches, it focuses on the human group or the process of social interaction. Okay, next is scientific research. Scientific research is, it is a building of knowledge and with verifiable facts. Okay, and next, yes, next what you come across is the various types of research. How would we categorize our research? Okay, so come to the left. I'll start from the left hand side. Quantitative research, qualitative research, descriptive research, analytical research, applied research. Okay, so these five on one side. On the other side, fundamental research, exploratory research, conclusive research, survey based research, case study based research. Okay, so these 10 what we come across are the various types of research. So the general category, see the diagrammatic representation, how it the diagram projects these types. When we talk about general types, it comes under quantitative and qualitative. Okay, what about the nature of study? It is descriptive or analytical. Okay, it can be either descriptive or analytical. Next is purpose. Purpose is either applied research or fundamental research. Next is research design. It can be exploratory or conclusive. And what about data type? It may be a primary research data or a secondary research. So this is the major categories under which we classify the different types. So qualitative research is ethnography, case study, so autobiography, participatory action research, all these come under qualitative. Quantitative is survey. We conduct survey, we collect data, and we go in for the analysis, statistical study. So this is quantitative. So it can be even the mixed type also. So basic approach to any research, any branch of study is either quantitative or qualitative. Our research falls under any one of these two categories. So quantitative is we have experimental, simulation, inferential. Qualitative is subjective, attitudes, opinions, behavior. See, now what we have is difference between primary research and secondary research. So what is primary research and what is secondary research? So primary research is carried out to obtain first-hand information. So whatever the topic we have chosen, the first-hand information that we receive, it forms the primary research. Okay. Next is coming to the next point is the researcher conducts the study by himself. Next, it is based on raw data, no criticisms, no commentary. So that is why we call it as raw data. So the process takes a long time and it is a bit expensive. Okay. Now coming to the secondary research. So secondary research, the data is acquired initially through primary is used in secondary. So data that are gathered for the primary research also comes under secondary. Okay. So the research is carried by someone else, not by the researcher himself. Next is it is based on information that has been examined and interpreted. So how the work has been considered, how the information has been examined, interpreted. So, for example, you have a work, and I study that work, and whatever I feel like commenting, I give a commentary on it. So, what you do is, for example, you take my criticism as your branch of study. So, in that case, my criticism becomes your main research question. Okay. And it is based on the information that has been examined and interpreted, right? So it is based on information that has been interpreted and the way it is being examined. So like whatever we get from the other, that forms the source data. Okay, I hope I'm clear. Process. So you have a circular process there. On the top you have point number 1, I identify the problem. Next, point number 2 is we review literature. Point number 3 is we set research questions, we set research objectives and a hypothesis. Next, point number 4 is we choose the design. Point number 5 is we decide on the sample design, and point number 6 is we collect data. Point number 7 is processing and analyzing data, and next step is writing the report. Okay. See, the same is being done in a different way, where from the top, formulate a problem, and we go for literature study. Next is a literary survey. Next is the development of hypothesis. Next, preparing research design. Next, analysis of data. Next is, after research design, we go in for sample design. Next, collection of data. Next, execution of project. Next is analysis of data. Next is hypothesis testing. Next is generalization and interpretation. Next is preparation of research report. That is what you call the report which we submit. Okay, the final shape. So we categorize this under four phases. Excuse me. So we start with phase 0. Phase 0 is nothing but preparation. We plan for a work, we go in for study of research methodology. So this doesn't come under the process of research. Okay. So the next step is literature review. So it may be historical information, industry information, or the review of related subjects, related studies. Next is theories and assessment tools. Okay. So theoretical foundation, questionnaire based on chosen model. Okay. So this is the next step. Next is phase 3 is data gathering. That is questionnaire distribution, gathering of answered questionnaires. Okay. Next is phase 4 is data analysis and conclusion, analysis of the impact on the, this is an example that is given. So recommendations. So analyzing data and giving a coming to a conclusion. Yes. So we have the steps of the research process. The conceptual phase, we have a concept. So based on it, we move. Next is we design and plan. Next is the empirical phase. Next, analytical phase, dissemination. Dissemination is research. Yes. Yes. So research process guideline. So we formulate a research problem. We go in for literature survey. And next is we develop hypothesis. Next is we prepare the research design. We determine sample design. We collect data, execution. We analyze. Yes, hypothesis testing, generalization, preparing the report. Certain ideas that need to be focused. Number one is focus on your aims and objectives. So every researcher should focus on their objectives at every point of time in research, whether they are able to achieve the objectives. It is very, very important. Next is identify your method and the one that suits your problem. Okay, you have an idea in your mind. You, this is the researcher. Based on the idea, we go in for a method. Okay. Next is selecting the particular research method. Next is consider your audience and think how you will collect data. Next, analyze different types of data collection. Even for data collection, we have various methods. Yes. So how are we going to prepare the questionnaire? What are all those questions that we should include? So like this, we have so many criteria. So next is the last one is we analyze the different data and that's you to analyze. So whatever the data we have we have received and we have collected and we have analyzed. So we have to correlate with the other analyzation that is being done. Ask the question, scientific method. So scientific method is come from the top, ask a question, form a hypothesis, collect data, analyze, then draw conclusion. Okay, now I just want to throw light a few info on business research. Okay, if it is a commerce or an MBA people, if they want to do it on their branch of study, so just what are those that they can opt it. That is market analysis could be done, financial analysis, brand analysis, product analysis, risk analysis, competitor analysis, demand analysis, distribution analysis. So these 8 are the major trust areas of research for a business researcher, for a researcher doing in business administration or business studies or whatever it may be. So evaluative research. Yes. So here evaluation, how will we evaluate? Evaluation is testing. So usability testing and A/B testing, pre-testing, closed card sorting, survey. So these are various ways of testing. Okay. And evaluative research, evaluation, right from the term we can identify, evaluate. We give value for certain things. That is what evaluate. Yes. And maybe policy or a program or what you call the findings. It may be crucial to the rational or informed decision making and change intervention strategies, evaluation research. So these are become very common in today's scenario. Evaluation research, which is also known as a program evaluation, it refers to research purpose instead of specific method. And this evaluation research is a systematic assessment of the worth or merit. Yes, so evaluate, assessing time, money, effort, and resources spent. Okay, so this is what we are expected to assess. Next is what are the benefits of evaluative research? The evaluation, what is the benefit? So whether a product or a feature is meeting user needs, whether we check the success of a product or feature against it, and we collect feedback on the overall product. Yes, so user experience. Next is generative research, evaluative research. Generative is we focus on the uncovering previously unknown problems, but in evaluative research, we focus on one specific problem. Yes, and the team has already identified. And here, generative research, it helps better to it helps to understand the clients better. And here we have already a product, and that could help with the problem. Okay, and this is a few types of evaluation research: outcome evaluation, impact, cost effectiveness, cost benefit analysis, secondary analysis. So all these are related to business research. Okay, so here, data collection, point the 6 steps involved in designing a research. Okay, so data collection, how we are going to do it. Next is measures for variables. So what are the variable for which we are going to use and collect data? Next is identifying sample. Next is contact subjects. Next is data analysis plan. Next is present findings. Fundamental difference between fundamental research and applied research. So fundamental is, so talk about a particular discipline and we seek to do away with the theory. Yes, here applied is, this is actually to expand the scope of application for a discipline to address a problem. And here fundamental is, it assumes that all other variables it remain constant. Here changes while recognizing that other variables are constant. Here reports are used in technical language, and in applied it is used in standard language. And the pros and cons here of this: qualitative and quantitative. Okay, so when you talk about qualitative, so attitude and behavior, stimulate discussion, allows flexibility. These are the pros. And when you talk about the cons, high possibility of sample selection, lack of privacy, collection of data. And here quantitative pros is, pros and cons. Pros is greater sample, quicker and simpler, information is anonymous. And the cons here is survey response limited. The researcher carries out the research in natural surrounding. It will be quite expensive. Next is significance of researchers. So applied economics, business, whatever it is complex, and focus on the use of research in solving operational problems. And this is actually the term research, how it is being used by the various sect of people in a society. Okay, for example, look at the first one. According to a student, how does he or she focus the word research? So according to them, it is actually they write a master's or a PhD thesis, and the research may be a careerism or way to attain high position in social structure. Yes, significance of the research. Next is to professionals in general, this research methodology or the research, it may be a source of livelihood for them. For the philosophers and thinkers, research is actually, it means the outlet for new ideas. Okay, and new ideas and new insights. And to literary men and women, research, it means the development of new style and creative work. And to analysts and intellectuals, research may mean generalization of new theories. So with various sects of people in the society, how does the term is being focused? Next is a small intro on ethics. So ethics, research ethics, it is actually the way we conduct, how we are going to do justice to the work that we have undertaken. Okay, so ethical issues, like this is what is concerned with plagiarism. I should mention here, plagiarism is nothing but when an individual, when a researcher deviates from the research ethics, he or she will be caught up in plagiarism. Okay, so being ethical in whatever we do is very, very important in research, because the research subject, the facilitators, the collaborators, users, everything, everybody is involved. And research ethics, what are all those components that forms research ethics? Integrity, respect, rules, regulation, justice, dignity, confidentiality, competence. So values, ethical practice, honesty, beneficence, autonomy, non-malfeasance. So these are all the common factors that put together what we call research ethics. Yes. So these factors are highly essential for any researcher. Yes, these are the various qualities, I should say, a researcher and is expected from a researcher. Okay, integrity, respect, rules, regulations, justice, dignity, confidentiality, competence, moral principles, ethical practices, values, privacy, honesty, beneficence, autonomy, non-malfeasance. So these are all very, very essential. Not like we can be choosy in this, no choosy in this. So all these qualities should be there within a researcher. So only then appropriate solution could be achieved. So or else our research work will be only in a hanging stick. Okay. So every researcher should focus on all these factors, whether they do really possess, whether they do justice to the work that they have undertaken. So this is very, very important, because these days we have got so many of plagiarism research work that is being turned back, calling as it has not cleared the plagiarism check. So all this, the term plagiarism, a work is being caught by the term plagiarism only because the deviation away, I mean, because of deviating from this research ethics. Okay, so every profession has its own ethical code that the professional is expected to follow. The same way, a researcher is also expected to possess certain qualities as their what you call a trademark, you can even say, as long as they finish the degree and get a degree. Okay, so these ethics are highly, this is what you call professional ethics. These are all very, very important. So according to Oxford, see, according to Oxford Dictionary, ethics or moral principle, we all knew. Yes, but how come this doesn't apply when things happen or being caught during this plagiarism? The term plagiarism doesn't arise, the need for it doesn't arise as long as people don't deviate from their ethical research ethics. Once people have deviated, automatically it takes control over us. Yes, so this realization should be there in the mind of every researcher. Okay, yes. Yes, ma'am, I think I have done. Now, the session is open for questions. Anybody who has got any queries, I'm ready to answer your queries here.